surprised we're not the first one to come up with that.
Yes.
Okay, cool. We got to reconnect with the IR. For as advanced as the Gen 6 connections are, they do fail from time to time. It's had a connection disruption. However, now the battle seems to be progressing. Waiting for preparations.
You told me I picked flat when I didn't.
Whatever. You can battle in two modes, flat or normal. Flat will flat normal unrestricted. Normal will make everything level. Will level things up to level 50, and flat will keep things down below level 50 at whatever level they happen to be on. We see Arya's team here.
Yes, let's take a look at some of these teams.
Arya is Michael Odland. We see a lot of slower Pokemon actually. I recognize that Harmolda. What do you think about that, Steve?
I think we've seen that one or two times, yes. Brought a couple surprises with us.
We see a Mawile. I've known Mawile to be quite a monster in Gen 6 with the Mega Evolution. Maybe we'll see if Maiko brings that. He was also threatening with Rain on the bottom. We would call a Politoed. However, Rain is not the same as it used to be, especially in rotation. It only lasts for 5 turns. We'll see if that makes an appearance. On Andres' side, we also see a Mawile. It's a very popular Pokemon, so it also be very good used, right? He sees a Terrakion, which, as we all know, is my favorite Pokemon from Gen 5, fighting rock, makes 108 speed. Andres also has the Gastrodon, one of my other favorites from since it was introduced. It has an awesome ability called Storm Drain, which any water attack in the vicinity gets drawn to Gastrodon, and instead of doing damage, raises a special attack. It's quite useful.
And just a word for our viewers, this goes out to J-Knock. Yes, that was Brian. I tried to get him on the stream, but he was very unwilling to come on. Also, yeah, would you like to address that question, Alex?
The Pensive Pokemon Challenge, you are allowed to change your team between gyms. No one's keeping tabs on what you're using. You just gotta be sure you have everything legit and ready to go in your game. You can use whatever you want throughout the whole day. Battle's getting started. We see Andres near side, Maiko far side. I like saying that. It's like foreign football.
Yes, it is. And you know about our football culture here in Penn State.
I mean, our Pokemon culture.
Just can't get enough of it.
No, see, we're playing football right now. Anyway, that's enough of that. We probably should stop with that. Competitors picking moves. Competitors could either straight out attack. They can rotate and attack. They can switch out to the Pokemon coming out of a Pokeball.
The possibilities are endless, Alex.
They are endless in rotation battles. And we see Andres rotating out to Gastrodon, and Gastrodon putting out a Earth Power against this Musharna.
And what move is that, Alex?
That move is Trick Room. Steven, how many turns does Trick Room last?
It's going to be 5 now that we've cleared that up.
I'm glad we know now. All Pokemon on the Trick Rooming team seem to be slower. At least their appearances would suggest such. However, Andres' Pokemon aren't that speedy. What do you think? We see a Gastrodon, which we know for a fact to be. Andres switches into Cresselia. Cresselia being very bulky. We all remember Cresselia. That does a ton from Artillery Energy Balls. And Crit does a decent amount of damage. Cresselia Shadow Balls and does relatively not a lot to this Artillery. However, that special defense does get dropped one stage on Artillery, so that drop will stay with that Artillery as long as it's on the field and doesn't come back to his Pokeball. We see Andres sporting a Greninja, Cresselia, and a Gastrodon, while Maiko has a Mawile, Musharna, and Artillery. Artillery is in the attacking position. Andres has Cresselia in the attacking position. At any moment, either of these things could switch around. We can see a different Pokemon in the attacking position. That's the beauty of rotation.
I've always said such.
Cresselia in Andres' attacking position being very bulky.
Switching in that Mawile.
Mawile on Maiko's side.
And there it goes, Al.
Bear in mind, we are in the Trick Room. So if this Mawile's EV to be very slow, this can be quite a threat to Andres. We see Mawile underspeeding Cresselia. Cresselia living to play rough. Wow, that's a really hard hit from a Mawile, but Cresselia keeps being bulky, and bulks that, gets some more health back with Citrus Berry. Cristallia uses his own Trick Room.
Is that a double Trick Room?
What happens then, Steve?
I'm not sure. Why don't you go over with us, Al?
Well, when the Trick Room is already out and another Pokemon uses Trick Room, the dimensions go back to normal, as we just saw. Someone just flips the Trick Room back around.
Calls the bluff.
Last turn we saw Mawile is going faster than the Cresselia. However, Mawile comes out now with the Sucker Punch. We all know Sucker Punch is a +1 priority. Apparently, the Cresselia was trying to attack something, but it can't do it because it gets Sucker Punched and dies.
Faints.
Pokemon do not die, they faint.
No, it faints.
Andres comes in with his own Mawile. Mawile intimidates the opposing Mawile, making its attack stat go down by 1 stage. That stat drop will stay on the field as long as Mawile is there. Mawile versus Mawile here, folks. Mike knows Mawile's already in its Mega form. Mega Evolving is a new phenomenon noticed in Pokemon. Pokemon's stat increase in battle, they evolve to push themselves beyond their normal limits. I think it's a great concept. It's certain to change the metagame.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen a lot in our battles already the way they are.
Yeah.
We see Maiko and Andres picking their moves very cautiously. Andres' Mawile Mega evolves. When Mawile Mega evolves, it gets an awesome ability.
2 heads?
It does have 2 heads, however its ability, 2 heads are more than 1, 2 heads are quite huge. It has an ability called Teach Power, where its attack stat is doubled, making Mawile's base attack be quite high, quite extensive. Its neutral attacks are almost a 2-hit KO on any bulky Pokemon.
We're seeing our 3rd Trick Room of the game.
We also see Musharna showing its bulk. And it really takes that attack from Mawile and lives and puts Trick Room back up. So now we're back in the... For those of you keeping track at home, we are under slow Pokemon Go first conditions again. However, all these Pokemon here seem very slow, and given their V spreads, anything can happen here. Yes. I mean, I'm not really exactly sure who's going to underspeed who.
Yes, and given the endless possibilities of the rotation battle, that could all change like that.
In fact, I expect it to.
Do you?
I'm not thinking we're going to see another Trick Room reversal, but I think we're going to see something unpredictable coming up. We got it.
So you're predicting an unpredictable move?
It's rotation after all.
Oh. Alex aspired to be a weatherman when he was in high school.
No. Andre's putting a very great deal of thought into this next move. All kind of Pokemon battles, one move can possibly determine the outcome of a battle.
Oh, yes. As we saw in
Gastrodon goes for Surf onto the incoming Octillery. Octillery does not do a lot to Gastrodon. However, Gastrodon absorbs the water attack from Octillery, increases special attack, as I've stated before. This Gastrodon is now a +1. Has it absorbed another attack before this, or is that the first attack it's absorbed?
I believe it's the first one. I was paying attention to Club Matters over here, as you can see.
I'm glad you're taking care of things. Here comes a Gastrodon's Earth Power onto a Mawile. Gastrodon has that +1 special attack. Mawile is weak to ground attacks. Ground attacks being stabbed from Gastrodon. Mawile goes down.
Down goes Mawile.
Down goes Maiko's Mawile. In comes a shiny Armaldo. I'm not sure what this Armaldo is going to do, but I've seen Armaldos from this man do some very spectacular things in the past.
Yes, like what, Al?
Be unpredictable. Take things
just
out.
As you predicted.
Maiko rotates in Octillery. Andres opts to the Earth Power again from a +1.
Oh, and that'll take care of the Octillery.
Gastrodon Earth Power is enough to take care of the Octillery. Even though we saw Octillery bulk something before, it's not going to let that +1 Earth Power. Andre seems pretty much on auto drive. Happens to be just attacking with Gastrodon, not Earth Power this time, but here comes a Surf. Surf onto Armaldo does a ton.
Oh, man.
Armaldo goes down to Surf. Armaldo is Bug Rock, so it's super effective.
Quite susceptible.
Oh, quite. The twisted dimensions return to normal. Wow, folks. Trick Room was up the whole time, being set up by Maiko. Unfortunately, that just
collapses.
That collapsed right on him because Gastrodon undersped all his Pokemon because he outsped them in the Trick Room.
That's why you got to think these things through, folks. Not that Micah didn't.
Andres rotates in Greninja, Dark Pulses, and takes care of the weekly of the weakened Musharna.
Yes.
Andres very handily winning that battle.
Textbook battle.
Misplay, man.
On Andres' side, anyway. Folks, in that battle, we saw the usefulness of Trick Room. Trick Room being turned on, turned off while it was still in play. Trick Room being abused by the other Pokemon not using Trick Room. You gotta really be careful when using that move because it makes your slower Pokemon go first. So, if you use Trick Room when your opponent already has a slow Pokemon like Gastrodon, be wary about what you might get outsped by.
Why don't we're at him? Why don't we talk to Andres Morales?
Folks, Andres is going to be here in a second to tell you about his so far undefeated strategy.
Yes.
Last battle we saw Gastrodon doing quite a bit of work for Andres. He has some other Pokemon on his team that I'm sure are going to raise an eyebrow about the creativity proposed by him. Here he is.
Welcome, Andres.
Hey. What, guys?
Andres, you won your last battle. You won your two before that. Tell us what's your secret so far. What's winning for you?
A good team.
Andres claims he has a good team, although no team is the best.
Well, that is debatable, Al.
What strategy am I using?
Yes, what strategy are you using?
I feel like a lot of other people put more thought into it. I'm blessed and fortunate to have a lot of good Pokemon in my boxes. So, and also I've done some rotation battles before, so I have a little bit of experience with it. I just try to come up with something very solid and adaptable. You know, not just from a typing perspective, though I feel like I do have that covered, but also a mechanics perspective. For example, the Cresselia, while very bulky, can take just about any hit, so it's almost like a free switch because I know I'm not going to die from almost anything except the Mawile.
I saw you live that player up there.
That was those defense EVs. It matters. So, you know, but with something like that, you know, I could usually say switch, and it's a good tech with the Trick Room, and still offer other sorts of support and such. And the Gastrodon, it really provides good support for other Pokemon, especially with the Storm Drain. Unfortunately, because of the Trick Room and the +1 boost, after I took out some damage from Octillery, it was a clean sleep at that point. So,
I noticed your Cresselia had Trick Room, but you did not use your own Trick Room to win the battle. You took advantage of the other person's Trick Room. Explain to us how you thought through that mind process.
Well, I had Greninja. I didn't want to be in Trick Room.
Okay.
And but it's not a big issue because I have other Pokemon that are adaptable for like Gastrodon and Mawile. So it wasn't. He devoted a lot of time to Trick Rooming, while for me, just kind of like I can go either way. So that gave me an advantage there on its own, and I felt like that Mawile was scary and such, and when I Trick Room back, it threw him off. So, I mean, that's the logic that was behind it. It's good.
Back to your Cresselia, I realized it was very bulky. Do you know off the top of your head what the EV spread is on that bulky Cresselia?
Okay, so that Cresselia I probably was using in Worlds for VGC. It probably had Helping Hand, Icy Wind, Psyshock, and Trick Room before, but I took off Helping Hand because it's rotation and gave it Shadow Ball. So I probably gave it some special attack EVs. I don't remember the exact spread, but some to make sure that Icy Wind was, you know, back in Gen 5 was good against Landorus and Thundurus, just enough to be either a 2 or 3 KO depending on the Pokemon. And then also some defense EVs to make sure it survives, like a U-turn and such. But for this, it was good against the Mawile, and then the rest is, you know, HP and SP Def to not die to anything.
I'm sure there's a lot of math going on in that, isn't there?
I don't remember it.
Just how many rounds do we have in the team? How many rounds of Swiss?
We're shooting for 5 rounds of Swiss, so we have 2 more.
We just finished the 3rd round. Andres, you're 3-0.
Yeah.
I expect you to do well in the rest of Swiss.
We wish you luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and talking to us.
Yes, thank
You
you.
guys are doing a good job. Keep it up.
Thank you. Some interesting insight from one of our players. We're glad that here at the Pokemon Society we can bring you that interesting commentary.
Round 3 has just ended, folks.
Yes, and
Round 4
as you
is
just heard,
up.
round 4 is